welcome to another, let's call it a smoke along for now until I come up with something better. Welcome to another Statesman Smoke Along. If this is your first time watching any of our videos and you don't know who I am, my name is JC Estrada. I'm a part owner of Statesman Cigar Co. I'm what we jokingly refer to as the Chief Cigar Officer, the CCO, if you will. Basically, everything that has to do with cigars, whether it's our content or our blends, it has to go through me. Now, today, the plan is we smoke together. I show you guys how I like to assess a cigar, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get into it. Today I am smoking La Aurora, the Cameroon selection. It's a really nice looking cigar, and it's a Robusto, which is I used to love Robustos a lot when I first started smoking. I think that's probably mainly because I was a little bit intimidated of the bigger cigars. And we are not off to a good start here. You can see that this footband kind of peeled off a little bit of the wrapper. Probably not too bad, but it is kind of exposing the binder. You can see that. So maybe that'll affect the flavor a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't affect the draw that much. That would kind of suck. But no problem. Also, I have a towel with me because it's like 102 degrees for me out here. It's not actually 102 degrees. I'm just very sensitive to heat, and I hate being out in the sun and being out in my house in general. But we do what we got to do. We do the do here at Statesman. Today I'm going to be using a V-cut. If I haven't mentioned this before, you guys should know that your cuts are preferential. It's whatever you guys prefer, whatever you guys like, whatever you guys have a better smoking experience with. I'm just using a V-cut because I like it. Pretty good cut. Now, let's start with the cold draw. Sorry. So when you first want to assess a cigar, there's different things. I mean, you can start anywhere. You can start with smelling the body of the cigar, which is this part. You can smell the foot of the cigar and try to gather notes from it. You take a cold draw first. Oh, whatever you guys want to do, whatever your pre-lighting rituals are. That might affect the draw a little bit because it is pretty open, but I have faith. If you guys don't know this about me, one of my favorite wrappers is actually the Cameroon wrapper. I love the balance of the sweetness to it, and it just feels like a really classic tobacco flavor. Just I don't know, just really classy. It's just that perfect blend of the sweetness, but also a little bit of like, I don't want to say savory, but darker notes to it, like the more earthy notes, the wood notes and stuff like that. Mm. There's some texture to that too. Kind of like when you have like cereal, like Frosted Flakes or something, you get a little bit of that sugar on your lips. I think that's what I'm getting right there. You got a little bit of sweetness to it. There's some nuttiness to it, kind of like a little like peanut, maybe cashews. Really light flavors. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. Let's see what we get from the body. It smells like hay, earthiness, really, really light flavors. Sorry, I hope you guys didn't hear that dirt bike passing around. Really light flavors, really light notes. This should just be a really smooth smoking experience just by what I'm gathering here. Yeah, it's just that sweet hay, just overpowering. Not overpowering, it's like the forefront of the foot. It's like the main note that I get. A lot of the time, I'll get like dried fruits and stuff whenever I smell the foot of a cigar. But this time is very faint. I want to say like a dried apricot. That's interesting. Wow. Well, let's light up. Oh, hmm. That is unfortunate. The foot of the cigar, like that foot band, actually kind of tore off a little bit too much. So I might have to just light from that binder. We are all about making corrections here. Kind of unfortunate. Tastes really good though, off the rip. That's always a really good sign. I just hope that the flavor, the initial flavor that I got, I hope that it just stays consistent throughout. Because I really like um, when a cigar has a really like a good consistent flavor to it, and it just kind of adds little things here and there, or puts secondary notes in the forefront as you continue to smoke. So let me fix this up, and then I'll be right. Ladies and gentlemen, mission accomplished. Look at that. I just had to burn through it a little bit, kind of like smoke it, light it at the same time and stuff, so it can kind of even out and catch some flame. So if that ever happens to you guys in the future and you don't want to grab another cigar and you just want to smoke the one that you have, just light up around it. Um, you'll miss like a little bit, like, I don't know, however much that is. I'm not good at gauging sizes, but it is worth it because as I'm smoking this, the flavor is really good. And you can tell that the quality of the tobacco that they're using is high because of how white this ash is. Look at that. Looks really good. So now that I had a actual proper draw of this, I'm getting a little bit of spiciness to it, and I do like that a lot. It's like a little bit of crushed red pepper just kind of um, sitting on the palate a little bit. It tastes really good. I so far that's like the main note. It's just like a lot of pepper to it. I haven't really gotten that much sweetness to it, but I also have been just trying to keep it lit. So the draw's way better now. It's not like so open. It felt like I was really just like sucking through a straw, and it was just air coming through. I didn't really get a good taste of the tobacco on the cold draw. But this is excellent. Not the construction of the cigar, obviously, but tastes good. And sometimes we are willing to work through some of the annoying parts of smoking cigars. Like sometimes your cigar just does not want to stay lit. Um, there are the patient types that will sit through that and really keep relighting, and they really want to smoke that thing. I probably have like I'll try to relight it maybe 2 3 times tops, and I'm like that's it. I'm tossing this one out. I got to get another one. Sometimes it's not worth the effort, but I don't have many Cameroon cigars in my humidor currently, so really wanted to get this one. It's good smoke output too. Hmm. I get like roasted nuts. It's really light flavors, and then that spice just coming in right behind there. Pretty tasty. I think my body's getting used to the temperature outside now. Took me a little bit. I'm honestly like a penguin or a polar bear when it comes to heat. I just really don't put me in heat, you know? Hmm. I got this random note of like a bitter espresso. And I think my palate got used to the crushed red pepper little spice that was going on because it's kind of like settled now. You know that feeling when it kind of feels like your taste buds are dancing because of how like spicy it is. Not spicy, but um like the red pepper is, you know what I mean? I might have to touch this up a little bit. Doesn't really look like that part's catching. I want to see if it'll correct alone, but it looks like the binder is a little bit separated, so it might need some help. I'm basically cauterizing the cigar. It's hilarious. You can see that the ash is kind of splitting on the top right here. So what I want to do is ash it, and then maybe it'll kind of correct itself a little bit along the way. Here we go. Sometimes these things happen, you know. Cigars are still being handmade, so we like to give some grace to the rollers. I'm still enjoying this, by the way. I'm not just like talking trash about the construction or anything. But this, I think it's important though, because to show you guys that, you know, everybody deals with sometimes imperfect cigars, you know. And this is just my way of dealing with whatever problems, whatever problems come with it. And that way I can kind of show you guys as well, like how do you handle when this happens, or for example, when you tear off a little bit of the wrapper of the cigar and the binder is exposed. Just light it up. Cauterize that thing. Mm, that's a lot better. A lot better. think that the transition coming out of the first third into the second one, it's gotten a lot smoother. Not that the smoke itself was harsh, but that the flavors were a little bit like prominent, especially the that crushed red pepper that was really strong. That was like the forefront, and then the roasted nuts was kind of like behind it. But now everything's like mellowed out completely. I think the flavors just kind of blended together. And it's like I said before, I love when a cigar has a consistent flavor all the way throughout, but that little things change here and there. It's not like the overall flavor of the cigar changes. It's the little notes that you get, the little nuances kind of like take a little step up. And that way you can kind of taste some more things. Still get that earthiness, still get those roasted nuts, little a little like a hint of wood, just very subtle. Yeah, this second third, it opened up really well. You get a little bit more coffee notes. It's not as bitter as it was when I had initially got that, but now it's just like everything is just working together really well. I think the reason I was thinking about this a little bit just internally, I know there's a lot of people out there that really exclusively only smoke Cuban cigars. And thinking about it, where, you know, you're always in hot weather, for example, you want to smoke something that's a little bit, I don't want to say refreshing because cigars is not really like a refreshing thing, but you also don't want to smoke anything that's going to be like that feels heavy. You want something light, something that you can just puff on, something to enjoy and just feel light. You know what I mean? I'm starting to understand you guys. I get you guys. If there's anybody watching this that exclusively smokes Cuban cigars, I want to know the reason why you think that that's just the way to go. You're just like a just old world cigars exclusively. And also, what do you do for work? Because those are expensive. I was able to get a little bit of the to catch a whiff of the aroma, and honestly, it smells like pipe tobacco. It smells really sweet. I think that's one of the other reasons why I like Cameroon wrappers so much is that when it burns, it just smells really nice. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of like a sweet pipe tobacco. If you guys have not had pipe tobacco, my goodness, you guys should get a pipe because they are amazing. It's like your cigar is the entree, and your pipe tobacco is like your dessert. It's the best way I can put it. Also, I mentioned this the last time, but you know, you want to wait to take off the band of this cigar, especially this one. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer than usual. I'm not gonna start peeling it until um, maybe until the burn line is around right here. And the reason for that is I want it to heat up the glue a lot more, just because of my experience with the uh, the band that was around the foot. So I don't want this to repeat, because that would just destroy my last third, and I don't want that. So yeah, just a little tip for you guys. I'm also curious, when you guys smoke cigars, just, casually, do you guys try to pick out notes? Do you guys try to distinguish what you're tasting, or you just kind of smoke it and you go, wow, this is good. I like it. I'm just gonna vibe. Because I kind of have those, I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I just kind of want to, you know, turn my mind off. It's been a long day. Just want to chill. I just want to relax, put my earphones in, listen to some music, podcast, watch a movie, whatever. And I just want to kind of zone out in the cigar and in the moment, really. And then there are other times where I'm like, wow, this is incredible. I'm getting this and boom and da da da, and I'm just all about. I'm just focused on the cigar. What can, like, what else it can provide me. Different ways to enjoy a cigar, you know. Oh, there's a nice breeze. God is good. I wonder if there are people who kind of stock their humidors seasonally. And what I mean by that is, do they have certain cigars on rotation, for the summer, and then switch it up for the fall, switch it up for the winter, switch it up for the spring? I think that'd be really cool. You just kind of have like a little go-to, and that way, your cigars don't get too repetitive. There are a lot of people out there that have their dailies. They do like their daily cigars. They have their go-tos already. I don't know if I can do that yet. I feel like I'm still at that point in my cigar journey where I just want to try everything. I always want to try a new cigar every time I go to a lounge. Um, I take a look around their selection. I'm walking around the humidor and I'm like, okay, which one have I had? Which one have I not had? And I tend to gravitate towards the ones where I'm like, well, I've never heard of this company. Let's give it a shot. I've never heard of this line. Let's do this. And also the employees at cigar lounges are very knowledgeable. Sometimes I've had an experience. All right, you know what? I'll talk about that. I went to a cigar lounge that I like to go to, and um, I was just looking around the humidor, and I was like, man, maybe I don't know if they carry AJ Fernandez, because sorry, there's that dirt bike again. I didn't want it to pick up on the mic. So I'm standing in the humidor, and I really wanted to smoke a New World by AJ Fernandez. I had mentioned this, I think, in the last video. The New World Cameroon selection is my one of my favorite cigars. And I was kind of craving it that day. So I'm walking around the humidor and I'm like, maybe I'm just not seeing AJ Fernandez, or maybe they don't carry it. Which I mean, it's fine. You know, every cigar lounge has their own um, selection, right? And so the guy he's in there with me, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have any AJ Fernandez by any chance? He's like, oh yeah, I think so. We should. And then he walks to the corner that I'm in, and then he goes, yeah, right there. He points to it, and I look where he's pointing, and it says Arturo Fuente. And I said, thank you. And he walked away. And I just couldn't be bothered. What am I gonna do? I don't. It happens, man. It happens. Forgot why I was telling that story, but here we are. Oh, I was saying the reason that I'll take a puff and then I'll talk about it. Now, all that to say, if you do have any questions when you're in a humidor, I just ask. That's it. Just ask. I think I'd like one day to reach a point where in my humidor I would like to keep um, just a box of like one box, maybe like a 10 or 12 uh, pack of like my favorite cigars, like one shade each. Like I can have for a lighter cigar. For me, my favorite Connecticut is the Rocky Patel 1999, the vintage 1999. I, I love that one. It's such a good Connecticut cigar. That was, when I was barely getting into cigars, I was just going through this rabbit hole of Connecticut's. I just wanted to develop my palate a little bit because I had gotten sick one time and I didn't want to repeat it. So I'm building my tolerance a little bit, and I just went through this rabbit hole of just Connecticut cigars. And when I first tried that Rocky Patel Vintage 1999, I immediately fell in love with it. Super light, great flavor, and it's just a really really classic tobacco. Just it's a nice smoke. It's a great morning smoke, and goes really well with coffee. The universal pairing. If I can have a box of the 1999, I'd have a box of the AJ Fernandez New World Cameroon. If I had to pick a box of Maduros that I can always keep in my humidor, I think I would go with the Liga Privada number 9. That is an incredible Maduro cigar. I highly recommend that one. That's like, my goodness, spoil yourself. Please, please spoil yourself and go get one if you have not tried it before. I will also put the L40 up there with the number 9. The L40, also made by Liga Privada Drew Estate. Those are amazing Maduro cigars. Those would be my go-tos. Not necessarily my dailies, but if like let's say if I have something in my humidor that I'm not really willing to give out, if somebody is like not like a typical cigar smoker, not like a normal frequent cigar smoker, and they're coming over and they want to enjoy something, those are definitely the ones that I'd be like, I have no problem giving them to you because one, they're really good, and two, maybe they wouldn't really appreciate some of the other nicer things that you have in your humidor. The one offs, the little special edition stuff, and you know what I mean. Those are the gimmies, the give outs, the golf cigars, if you will. I just ashed it, and I want to give it a slight touch up, just because there is a little part that I'm concerned about. And I also wanted to just heat up a little bit more because I feel like that glue is not loosening up as much as I hoped. I know you guys see me blowing on the cigar. The reason that I do that is so that I can kind of fan out the flame, fan out the cherry, make sure that it's lighting the edges correctly and that the ash is still holding onto the cherry really well. I'm getting into the last third here, and I gotta say that the flavor is just that consistency. They nailed it. Really, really good job. You still have a little bit of that coffee. The earthy notes are there. You still get the roasted peanuts, a little bit of wood in there. Nice, nice, nice. Because it started off, I was a little bit concerned when it started, just because it was such a flavor bomb. And then once it started opening up, everything really just kind of, I don't want to say muted, but they started balancing really well. That's the word I'm looking for. It's just a well balanced cigar. If you guys are smoking this, well, if you guys try this, I would. Sorry, there was a loud car. If you guys are smoking this and you want to pair it maybe with like something sweet to eat, I think dark chocolate would go really well with this. Or if you want it to be a little bit sweeter, you can go with milk chocolate. But I think the dark chocolate could play a little bit better just because if you, or I guess it depends. If you want to go with a darker flavor, if you want to, I guess, bring out more of the coffee notes, if you want to bring out more of the earthiness to it, I would go with dark chocolate. If you want to bring out some of the sweeter notes that the Cameroon wrapper has to offer, go with milk chocolate. But really, you can't go wrong with any of the two. The retro hill is very interesting to me. A lot of the time, I get like a toasted buttered like a buttered toast basically. You get like bread, and I do get that a little bit. But there's something else like a spice. I'm not really picking up. It's like cinnamon and something else, but very like a hint of cinnamon. It's really good. Also, you don't want to retrohale too much. I was doing some research, and I think typically you want to do it like once per third, twice the most, I think, because you also don't want to mess up your sinus. Nice. Not too bad. It did kind of take off a little bit more. You guys can see it right here. It took off a little bit more of the wrapper, but not enough to completely expose the binder. It is a little torn up, but I don't think it should affect the draw too much. Still good. But guys, the trick works. The trick works. You gotta wait until that heat gets to the band so you can take it off a lot smoother. In hindsight, I could have waited a little bit more, but I was getting a little bit impatient. Well, that is all from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was informational. I hope you guys got to just relax, hang out. Let me know what you guys were smoking if you guys are watching this while having a cigar, or what you plan on smoking if you see the notification pop up. Make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, turn those post notifications on so you guys can be in the loop all things Statesman. Follow us on all our socials, Statesman Cigar Co. on everything, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You guys know the deal. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.